Good afternoon, folks. This is Fred Campos, owner of DFW Website Designers. It is Monday, March the 22nd of 2021, and this is episode number 146 of your 3 business tips at 3 o'clock in and around 3 minutes. Yesterday, I told you a lot about my personal feelings about reading, and today I'm going to tell you about what's called the 5-hour rule. We're going to talk about reading, reflections, and experimentation. Business tip number 1, reading. And what is the 5-hour rule? Well, if you haven't heard about this from Warren Buffett or from Bill Gates, it is a concept that was put together and coined by Michael Simmons first. And it's the concept that you will spend 5 hours a week reading, 1 hour a day, pretty much. And that you can do your reading by having a book with you or on your phone or perhaps an e-reader of some kind in an effort to improve your concept, your mind, your values. And people like me are trying to read 50 books a year. That's about a book a week. So in this 5-hour rule, business tip number 1, it talks about reading. What he discusses and what most people agree to is that you have the ability to do that in stack time. You could be in line getting your COVID shot, perhaps, and you could be reading a book. You could be, like me, out on a run. You could be listening to a book on audio tape. So you want to take about 30 minutes a day and actually read something, or carve out 30 minutes a day, either in the morning or in the evening. That's what it means by reading. Business tip number 2, you want to take about 15 minutes a day and reflect on what you've read. Maybe take some notes in a journal. I personally keep a journal with me, or my business call list that I keep track of things in, and write down some reflections of what it is that you learned from that day. And then business tip number 3 deals with the fact that you should spend some of your time actually experimenting and putting into action some of the stuff that you read, which is why I feel small business people, solopreneurs, you should be focused on reading, as we talked about yesterday, because you're always learning something new. So in this concept, the 5-hour rule says that you're going to take some time. You're going to take 5 hours, and you're going to spend some of that time reading, some of that time reflecting, and some of that time experimenting of what you've learned. This is a great concept. For small business owners, you should really focus on self-help or learning a little bit about your craft or learning some things that would help you in your business, sort of like what we talked about yesterday. And I like this idea of doing 30 minutes a day, writing some of it down in a journal, and then picking those really hot ones and actually implementing or experimenting with them. It's not until you actually do it that it becomes a part of you and that you actually get that learning to the next level. So that's my thoughts for you today. For those of you that didn't know, that's what the 5-hour rule is. 5 hours of reading, reflecting, and experimenting. As always, I'm sharing what I myself am learning because I want you guys to be awesome. Now go back to sleep.